Welcome to another hot day in NYC. This week we'll be sketchbooking, working on some client illustration, getting caught in some rain, and going out on a date with the Met Museum. Lately we've been going through a bit of a heat wave, which has also neatly coincided with this recent determination I have to start sketchbooking again. I bought this sketchbook when I was wandering Manhattan and the weather started downpouring. For some reason I was really drawn to the color, even though most of my sketchbooks are normally black and a few are red on the cover. For a good while, I think I was feeling a bit overwhelmed by client work and losing a connection with my own art. So carving out time like this to explore has really made me so much happier. Sketchbooking, I like to start my day off with to-do lists, which keeps me oriented and helps me plan for the week. Today I have a meeting with a new client at 2 p.m. where we'll go over the creative brief for a mural project. Hi, how's it going?
Not too bad. Okay, all right, it seems like...
It's just after 2:40 p.m. and the client meeting went pretty well, and I'm so excited about the project. Now I just have to wait for them to get back to me with specs and specifics about the characters they'd like me to illustrate. I wish I could tell you more specifics about the brief, but I signed an NDA on this one. I hope to share it with you once the finished project is live. The specs should be coming tomorrow, end of day. Part of me feels a bit anxious because the turnaround on this one is pretty short, but there's nothing we can do but wait to hear back from the client at this point. In the meantime, let's get back to drawing for ourselves. Last year, I got really inspired by these one-piece bathing suits I saw in an online shop, which made me think of bodysuits a la Neon Genesis Evangelion. I also felt incredibly isolated at the time and longed to be somewhere safe with my loved ones, which made me think of space. Not in a billionaire blasting off sort of way, but rooted in fantasy and yearning. It's an idea that I keep returning to, and I'm determined to make time for it this summer. Thus this floating space soft drink. Eventually I'd like to make enough drawings to comprise a zine styled somewhat like a catalog, but we'll see. Good morning. I'll pour us some coffee. That's better. Since we're still waiting for the client to get back with specs today, we may as well do some morning sketches. I also picked up some nice washi tape from Muji, so I'll use that to build a frame to hold the colored pencils. This time I'm going to work from a photo by Donely on Instagram. I just really love their flower photos, and I thought it might be fun to work with a simple still life. As I scrolled through my inbox of client emails, I couldn't help but wonder, who was scrolling over my dating profile? Wow, I guess this was the only segment of my day devoted to client work. I said I went to Muji before. Well, I also happened to pick up this green tea latte mix. Ta-da! It's a bit on the sweeter side, so I cut it with oat milk and ice cubes. I guess we might as well finish the Galaxy 8 art we were working on before. To be honest, there isn't much left to do on it. Pay me to make art, Coca-Cola. I challenge you. I thought I'd start my day off right by bringing you to a cafe this morning. But it was too crowded to work there, so I guess we'll just draw at home with our croissant and latte. I'm still sweaty just from that short walk.
From boiled bean sprouts and tofu, and spooning filling into soft, thin dumpling skins, pinching the tops closed, each one slightly closer to one of Mamchi's perfectly uniform wonder. Mamchi peeled the skin off an Asian pear with the giant knife pulled toward her, just like Mom did when she cut Fuji apples for me after school on a little red cutting board before eating the leftover fruit from the core.
Sometimes I like to listen to audiobooks or podcasts while I work because it helps me focus on the drawing. And this week I've been listening to the audiobook version of Crying in H Mart by Michelle Zauner. Numerous friends have recommended this book, and I can see why. For me personally, it's easy to relate to a biracial only child growing up with the tenuous connection to her mother's culture, as well as having a parent dealing with the ravages of cancer. But moving beyond relatability, I find Zauner's prose approachable but poetic, and her descriptions of food completely drool-worthy. Her depiction of her devotional relationship with her mother was a gut punch for me as a reader. And it really makes you consider the delicate and unseen things we lose when we lose a parent. Although I've heard it described as a fairly quick read, I tended to take my time with this one because of the emotional heavy lifting of the prose.
Painful loops would flare up, bringing every memory I had hoped to repress inescapably to the forefront of my mind.
I just hit a wall, which means it's time to take a nap. Back to sketching for this client, I like to get out some rougher ideas in a sketchbook rather than just on a screen, because it feels somehow less restricted by a frame. Once I have a few gesture drawings or rough thumbnails I want to iterate on, I bring in my iPad for making sketches to present to the client. I'm not quite done yet for tomorrow's deadline, but I'm fairly confident in the next step, so I'll just finish up tomorrow. Plus, my manager thinks I should wrap up for the night. Since I submitted the sketches earlier this morning, I'm headed to a friend's place to work and wait for feedback. I gotta say, it's nice to be able to work somewhere else for a change. My friend's apartment has such a warm vibe. She also has a fun collection of plants, too. In addition to that, she has this portrait I did of her hanging up on the wall. And who is this? I'll be sad to say goodbye to the gnomes. They worked so hard today. Aside from a Zoom meeting I had this morning, I took today off completely because we have a date with the Met Museum. I tried to dress up for the occasion. See you in Central Park. One of the exhibitions I got to see today was The New Woman Behind the Camera. It featured female identifying photographers from 20 different countries around the world. And for someone who knows nothing about the history of photography, let alone woman-captured photography, I thought this was a great primer. I also appreciated the range of moods and subjects captured, from ghostly and beautiful to horrific and lurid, and some smaller, more poignant moments. After this, I found my way over to the Asian art wing. If I were an immortal being, I could definitely sit myself in front of this wall for an age or two. Somehow, viewing a buttload of art never fails to work up my appetite, so I headed to San Marzano for an $11 bowl of pasta. I got a mixed greens salad along with a glass of Malbec and a bowl of pappardelle pasta alla norma, which is eggplant with pesto, tomato, and mozzarella. I mean, look at it. Since I still had a glass of wine to finish, I did some sketches based on the things I saw at the Met today. After this, I'm gonna head back home and watch a horror movie with Chow.